excavator with 2 police escorts I saw in Slidell, Louisiana, near TA truck stop as I was just leaving to get loaded. And so I got another TAPV, same machine, so 31,000 pounds or 14.3 metric tons for our friends in Europe. And this thing, because of the huge wheels, I find that, you know, normally 4 chains like this is enough because it's a half-inch chain, but because of the huge tires, it rocks. You know, you need more chains, and so I did this because they do have lots of D-rings. It's just that the position is not very good. And at first I put them like this, and you know, they were pulling, all chains were pulling the same way, and it was not good. Like as soon as I tighten this chain goes loose, you know. But I was not driving, I was just loading, right? And so I said, wait a second, I gotta pull them in different direction, right? So I did this, and on the back I pulled it this way, of course. So I did like 2 different directions. This one, short one, goes towards the wheel. These ones go away from the machine, and the opposite thing on the back, right? That's how actually my preferred method. If the D-ring is positioned properly, like that's the best way. When the tire, it doesn't touch any sharp parts on the chain, but it sits like this, and this really stops it from rocking, you know. And so you see over here, I pulled it this way, and this I pulled this way. But because this time for some, they received a request from Canada that they want them backed on the trailer because that's where the engine is. The engine and the exhaust. See, oh, they cover the exhaust with it, with that red thing over here. It's soft, but this is kind of, and there's the radiator here, and the fans in there, you know. And before, of course, they just used to drive on, so now they put it like this. And I already did, what, like 3 of them, so I'm used to this part being over there. And so it does have a couple of D-rings on top of there, but they're too tall, you know. I don't want to damage that mantle over there because the chain will be pulling down. And so the only way out was to use this towing hook, you know. But then of course you only can put 1 chain, so it's like awkward situation, but you gotta work with what you have, right? But what's interesting here, like this looks okay, right? 2 chains pull this way, 2 chains pull this way, what can go wrong? But again, I started tightening them, and as soon as I tighten these go loose, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? How is it possible? And then I realized, wait a second, this whole thing sits on a suspension, right? And look what happened if you think about it. If I start tightening these, right, they pull the machine down, so this part goes down, and guess what happens with this part? This goes down too, right? Because this whole part, these chains, they start pulling the whole thing down, including these D-rings. And why is that happening? Because these chains are not supposed to go down so far, you know, they should go somewhere here, like so that they don't pull. So basically, effectively, what happens is that these chains pull the machine in the same direction as these, almost, because they're so low. And I just remembered that this side was on the other end, right? And when I used to do, I did the same thing. I pulled these like this, but these ones, because I have extra D-rings, that's why you need them, you know. Like some when I was talking to guys about this, because I did not have these, right? I did not have these D-rings, I did not have these, and I did not have those 2 in the front. But you know, when you talk to guys, when I got my Kaufman, I was talking to, I think it was a guy from Keen Transport, you know. I was just we were loading, a guy was loading next to me, and I just, all right, is he gonna make it without hitting Captain Sergei? Because we're recording. Yeah, you keep going. We'll have it on tape. So anyway, and I talked to this guy from King Transport. Actually, I said, can I just look at your trailer where you guys add the where you add D-rings? And he showed me. He said couple here. He says, oh, and this is a good idea to have D-rings in here. And so when the front of this TAPV was here, that's where I put those chains. You know, from high top, I pulled them in here, and the machine just. And the machine was not like all the chains were basically self-tightening, you know. But that's what sometimes I'm just trying to say, is that sometimes you gotta look which way, you gotta think which way your chains are, you know, pulling, you know. So lots, like I always say, that lots of people think that truckers are basically idiots. But they just don't realize how much thinking actually goes in this. You know, you have to be kind of like a, I don't know, like cowboy, farmer, you know, you have to use your head, you know. Because this is an expensive piece of machinery, brand new. You don't want to damage it, but on the other hand, you don't want to lose it on the road, right? So, and the shipper over there asked me, she said, do you wanna cross your chains? And I said, well, not really. You know, I don't like crossing them. They're supposed to be short. And she was talking about these. And I said, according to DOT regulations, the chain should be as short as possible. But then over here, I did want to cross them, like the second chain, but it's just awkward here, right? I only have one tie down. And of course, here you have this, right? Which would be ideal, except that my clamps, this is too big. You know, I could not put anything in here. I'm not even sure what is this for, but it looks like part of the frame, so it's pretty strong, but I cannot work with that, you know. But like I said, if you guys buy a trailer like this, that's where I would say you should add custom D-rings. See, like I have them over here, right? Of course, that's from the factory. They always go in here. But this is always a good idea. Have them in here. And then I always use these for excavators. Alright? And then I have two pairs in the front. Right? That was all custom. That was all done after I got the trailer. See these? But yeah, right now I did not use these because they were too close over here. Basically, like I always say, again, you can never have enough D-rings. Some people even put them in here somewhere, like on the gooseneck, I saw. But I'm just not sure how good of a plan that is. But it would help me in this situation where I need to put the chain higher. But basically, that's my load. So 2,000 miles to Quebec. See, I try to protect my freight, and they covered the windows. And the guy was sitting on top of there. He can open the hatch. The hatch opens, and he was looking at the.
Yeah, I had like 20 feet back there when I was
yeah. So a view from the sleeper bunk, my workplace. Yeah, that girl, she was a driver from the tanker. My tanker, who was actually the white truck was backing next to me. She was the driver, and she started making all these faces, you know. Saw me filming, so. But anyway, so that's my load, and as I was saying, it's 2,000 miles. Sorry, it's 2,000 miles to Quebec. And I'm not sure if I'll make it by the end of the week, because today is already Tuesday, you know. But now I'm in Mississippi. Did not drive too much because it was late. They were late loading. Actually, at first they even told me that I might have to wait till Thursday, but then luckily They called me, I showed up there at 9, it was not ready. I gave him my phone number, went back to the truck stop, and around lunchtime the shipper called me and said, yep, it's ready. So I went there, got loaded. So otherwise I would have been sitting there till you know, 2 more days. So I got unlucky and then I got lucky. So anyway, thanks for watching, stay tuned. Maybe I'll do another update on the way to Canada. Ciao.